And we are live. Welcome, everyone, in episode 13 of the Spontaneous Conversations. As it is Monday, we're again with Laviras, and today we're going to talk about crystal skulls. Actually, Laviras is going to talk about crystal skulls because I do not know anything about it, so it's going to be very educative for me too. So I would say, Laviras, let's just dive in. And for everyone who has questions, just put them in the comments. I will see them pop up and we may answer them.
Hello, everybody. Well, last week when I felt like coming up, having this conversation today, it was um, it was intuitive. It just popped in my mind. Let's do crystal skulls. Didn't think about it. I had it was an idea, and just now as I am looking at the title on top, Spontaneous Conversation, episode 13. This is number 13 is very important for the crystal skulls. So why number 13 is important for this technology is because there were 13 crystal skulls in Atlantean times and 13 masters. Every crystal skull had a high priest, like a caretaker of every skull was a high priest in Atlantis. And I just find out actually that the 13 crystal skulls of Atlantis, they're not the very first crystal skulls that um, was that started this work on Earth. The very first, it's actually one crystal skull, the master crystal skull, which was created by a combination of alien technology and some very advanced priests, high priests on Earth. And so that is the master crystal skull, which haven't been found yet, but I know where it is. I've been told where it is. But I'll come back maybe to this information a little bit later. First, I would like to. So why I'm saying this is because number 13, the episode 13, it's amazing that we're talking about crystal skulls, the 13 crystal skulls of Atlantis. That
There's
and
no
that's
coincidence in life.
and that's something I just noticed now, and I'm very very grateful. To me, it's a synchronicity. It's a sign that this is exactly what was meant to be today, and also it shows me how aligned I am, that how I'm getting the messages from source in divine arrangement perfection. So for me it's my personal sign. It tells me that Laviras, you are hearing, the messages are coming to you clearly, and yes, I'm aligned, and so for me this is very important.
It
And
makes sense to me now also why I didn't manage to have another spontaneous conversation last week because I wanted to organize one with somebody from Canada and somehow we didn't manage to align our agendas because that
oh
would have been number 13 then, but it
yes,
could not. It could not. I had to wait.
wow, yes, yes. So yes, so let me tell you a little bit about what how I come what how I started to hear about, to know about the crystal skulls. So that was many, many years ago, I've seen a documentary on TV. So this must be something like 20 years ago. It was a documentary on TV and was talking about a crystal skull. And was just it just happened that I watched this documentary, and was talking about this amazing, beautiful, clear quartz crystal skull, which had the size and the shape the exact shape and size of a human skull. And they researched this crystal skull, which I don't remember what they said, where they found it, but what I remember is that they've done research it because the way this crystal skull was created, they could not explain what technology is being used, because it's there's no sign of chisel, there's no sign of any tools that we know in this day and age. Not the most advanced tools that we have cannot create that quality carving shape in clear quartz. So they've done a lot of tests, and they could not come up with um, an explanation how this crystal skull was created. So this was stayed in my mind. It just, and then uh, I don't know when I started to come again across information about crystal skulls. I don't remember, but somehow over the years I somehow I started to be attracted to this information, to get more, to hear more about crystal skulls. So I learned from other people a little bit about crystal skulls, and I was actually in Romania in 2013, and I connected with a healer in Bucharest, and this healer, his name is Pazvante. I don't know if you heard about Pazvante. I can put you in contact if you like later with him. So somebody took me to his studio, and he has gigantic crystals. Like his place is like a museum of crystals. And not only that, he's got so many gadgets made by him that looks very, to me, it looked very mysterious, very Atlantis kind of energy. It's some kind of objects made with crystals, with precious metals, even his what he had on his hands and around, amazing objects that it was fascinating just to look how crystals and metal was put together to create certain energies, certain devices. And to me, I just knew that this is some kind of connection that he's got with Atlantis or other advanced civilizations that were on Earth. And let's say not, because now I'm learning more and more that past, present, and future, it's all happening now. So Atlantis, it's actually a timeline that is happening now. So when I was in his studio, I spent quite a bit of time there. Actually, for about a week, I used to go every day and just hang around, because I had about a week time to spend before I came back to Australia. So I just love to be in that place. So I would go every day and hang around with him. And he had on one of the shelves, because he had lots of shelves with crystals all exposed there. So somewhere on one of the shelves, I've noticed this rose sphere, and I was attracted to this rose quartz sphere, rose quartz crystal sphere.
Hmm.
So I go to pick it up, and because I had a feeling it's a crystal skull, but it was the back of the crystal skull. Yeah. So I just went and picked it up and hold it in my hand. So immediately I felt teary. I felt like emotional. So it just immediately, what I can explain now, it affected my heart center, and it was an opening, and I was crying a little bit. And but as I was not very comfortable to keep crying, I just sort of contained myself a bit, and I connected with that skull, and that skull is right here. This is the crystal skull that was there. I'm trying to find a position to show you guys like this. It's a bit strange to put it in the camera. So,
Can you turn it also from the side? Yes. Ah.
so this is how it was on the shelf. This is what I've seen. And I imagine he didn't want to put it like this because it's very confronting for people. Some people, when they see a crystal skull, they feel that is something dark, something that is something to do with, I don't know, some dark energy. And what it is actually, this is a reflection. Whoever sees it as dark energy and negative energy, and they feel bad about it, it's actually the crystal skull is drawing that out of them. Somebody who is clear and has done a bit of inner work and doesn't have this programming from church or religion or other sources, would not feel the fear, the negativity, the that.
For many people, the skull is connected to death, and death is a bad thing. It's dark. It's
Yes,
the
yes.
end, where it's just a different dimension. It's just a different phase in our existence.
And somehow I never had that, even though the very first time when I heard that documentary on TV, I've seen that documentary, I was fascinated about it. So I'm pretty sure that was negativity in my body because that was somewhere in the beginning of my spiritual journey. But I didn't have this. And For me, the explanation is because I have a connection with this timeline of Atlantis. And I have a connection with, now I'm realizing, I'm starting to put things together, that I have a connection with a parallel life of me being a high priest in Atlantis, working with these crystal skulls. So it's a parallel reality. It's that I have a link and I can draw information from there. So that's why I'm connected. That's why I started attracting this information. That's why this skull was talking to me and draw me to it to pick it up. And when I felt it, I immediately start crying because it was just a direct connection happening. And so I don't know if before or after I did a bit of studies, a bit of reading what other people, and listen to lots of interviews and what other people think about crystal skulls. And in general, I can say that what I learned and what I experienced so far is that um, that Oh, I just remember now. I even before I came across this crystal skull, I already done a workshop with an American teacher which came to Australia, an amazing human who has a very interesting, um, very interesting gifts, and he remembered amazing things. He is very switched on to connect with other dimensions, and his name is Brian De Flores. This guy was a truck driver until he was 33 years old. And then he was at he was in his truck holding, he had a very normal truck driver's life, no interest so in any spirituality. And he said that he was holding the steering wheel in his car, and somehow it's just something happened and he was transported in Egypt. His hands started to become gold, and that was the beginnings. It was just and being said to him that you have to stop doing your work right now. This is the as far as you were allowed to go into this unconscious life. If you don't do it now, it's going to be too late or something like that. And these beings, they rewired him and activated him and remind him who he is and open all his gifts. And he's doing some amazing work, this guy. And he came to Australia and he did a workshop with the 13 crystal skulls. He did an activation with the 13 crystal skulls, and also he is able to download the energies of each crystal skull in separately and create some kind of visual drawing activators with codes. So when you look at them, you receive the energies of each crystal skull. And I just forgot that I have that. I actually will bring those templates and I'm going to put them each one in front of the screen, so you get an idea what I'm talking about. But not now, just I'll talk a little bit more. But I was thinking about that through the week, but right now, today, before we met, I forgot all about it, so I don't have it here. So we'll come back to those activators. So before I come across this beauty, because I like to give him some flowers and little decorations.
And some
Like,
hair.
yeah, these are actually feathers, ostrich
Oh,
feathers.
it looks like hair.
Yes, I know. And I like to do this, but yeah, we can. This is a different version. So before I met uh, this rose quartz, I've done this work with the 13 crystal skulls with Brian De Flores. So I learned a lot from Brian De Flores, and then later I went to Romania and come across this crystal skull. So I was already super excited that there is a big crystal skull here, and I really loved it. And spending a few days there in Romania with Pasvante, just towards the end of my stay, I managed to hypnotize him and get the crystal skull from him. He gave it to me. We did an exchange. I gave him something else for it. So what? So a little bit more in general about crystal skulls. So when there's a crystal skull, when somebody, let's say an artist or a person who has the ability to create a contemporary crystal skull like this one, I believe that that person is actually inspired by a being, by an entity, and is guided. Come on, create is it makes him feel, oh, I want to choose a particular crystal, and I'm going to create the crystal skull. And when this is created, that spirit, that force enters each crystal skull. So it's like a soul when wants to of a human soul when wants to be born into a human form. It gives the parents, the mother and the father, makes them want to get together. They start to feel that, oh, we want a child, let's work and become pregnant, but the baby, the soul of that being, gives them the idea into the parents. And this is exactly what I think the soul of a certain entity gives the human artist, the sculpture, the idea, oh, I'm going to create crystal skulls. So they create their own physical form. So we find it easier when we look at the crystal skull to talk to that entity. Yes, because if that entity just puts itself into, let's say, in the shape of a sphere or a octahedron or something else, we're not we're not going to talk to a sphere or octahedron. So
We cannot identify with the shape. Now this is
exactly,
like, yeah,
yes,
something like
yes,
human, so
yes,
it's easier.
exactly. So it's different because the camera, it's so different than it's done. I don't know how to hold it because the camera.
No, no, it's fine. You're holding it fine now.
So it's a little bit more like this. Yes, this is good. This is good. Okay, that's good. So in this position, so
You can see the depth. It's like looking somebody deep in the eyes, and you can start to see behind the eyes. It's the same now. You can see the depth and the deep knowledge and the wisdom.
so also because it's rose quartz, the energies of rose quartz, it adds to the entity that works through it. So this particular crystal skull has an energy of a female, and I channeled the name of this entity. I got the name Ayana. So this crystal skull's name is Ayana. And so there are lots of people who have crystal skulls, contemporary crystal skulls. They're all called caretaker. We don't own this. We just take care of them. We cannot own this. This is like we are caretakers for these beings. So all crystal skulls are connected with each other. It's like a matrix. And all crystal skulls, they are connected to the original first master crystal skull and the 13 crystal skulls. So they are they're like computers also, because they are in the quartz crystal. The very first ones are all made of quartz. Quartz holds memory, just like in computer we have quartz. We have quartz in watches. So the original crystal skull, the master one and the 13 one, they've been programmed with information technology, which is continuously releasing into the field on Earth. And the 13 crystal skulls, they've been taken to different parts around the Earth. So I think um, I, I believe that only 2 of the 13 crystal skulls have been found at this stage. One is called Max, and the second one It's in British Museum.
Were they found in the same place, or are they spread out through the planet, over the planet?
I think that one was found Max. I think was found somewhere in around Mexico. I don't know where the one from British Museum is found. And I just learned that the original, the master skull, is in around Bermuda Triangle, because that's where was the center of Atlantis. That's where it sunk, and it's underwater. So the channel who actually Bashar was saying, he gave quite a bit of details, as much as he could where exactly is, but still having those details, it's going underwater to find it.
They
It's
found also there a crystal pyramid.
yeah, that's where
It was
Atlantis.
shortly online, and then it just disappeared. There was even video from it, and I think it was just leaked or so from the military,
Very
and then
possible.
just it was, yeah, it's silenced.
Yeah, so that's where the center of Atlantis was. And that's why, because that crystal skull is super, super powerful. That's why all this energy distortions are happening, because the energy of the crystal skull and those and the temple there. So that's where the master skull is. So Max is another one. The one in uh,
England.
British Museum, it's another one. And there's another one which is called um, Mitchell Hedges Crystal Skull. Mitchell Hedges. So I'm not sure if it's another one, or Mitchell Hedges and Max is the same one. Mitchell Hedges maybe is the caretaker's name, and Max is something I would have to research. So it's two or three crystal skulls that I know that definitely are part of the 13. So, so the first one was created, the master one, and then we had the 13 masters, which created the replica of the first and worked with them together in Atlantis, had a circle of them, they were together in a circle. And after, when the work was complete, they went and spread these crystal skulls around the earth. And I heard there is one in North Europe. I heard there is one in China from Bashar, one in China, one in Antarctica. Yeah. Uh, that's all I remember. So, so meditating with crystal skulls, it's very powerful. It's just like talking to another person. I took this crystal skull once to an event outside in nature. I just left it there on an altar, and a woman just passed by, and she felt that she was actually called by this crystal, and she went and sat with the crystal and had a conversation. Connected, and I didn't ask her what came up for her, but yes, I've seen her how she was sitting there and telepathically talking to her. So there are, as I said, the original 13 is the master one, the first one, the original 13. And after there are so-called vintage crystal skulls, which there are quite a few very old crystal skulls found in different areas, in different temples around the world, special places They're very, very, very powerful, but they're not the original 13, but they are very amazing crystal skulls. I've seen some very, very special ones. And there are the contemporary ones, like this one. And there are different sizes, and they're just very, very beautiful. And I love their energy. And I'm going to go and get those 13 templates, the visual activators of the 13 crystal skulls created by Brian de Flores. So, excuse me. Maybe you'd like to talk to me about something because I can hear you while I do this, or talk to the viewers, whoever is with us. Keep them busy while I do
Oh,
this.
they can also just okay, just grab them.
Okay.
Sometimes a small break, some silence is very good to let things sink in for a moment because it's a lot of information, um, new information. Maybe it's the first time you hear of this, and it's okay to just take a moment and let things sink in. Or go grab a glass of water. Stay hydrated. That's important to stay hydrated, especially with all the energies that are fluctuating at this moment. I mean, fluctuations have been going on forever, but this year has been very intense, and around this period of the year, it's even more. That's why there's also so much happening in the world, so much happening in your life. So it's good to sometimes take a moment to let things sink in, to contemplate, or just to sit and rest. There's no need to rush, no need to keep busy. It's okay to do nothing from time to time and just be.
So before I'm going to show you the templates with made by Brian de Flores, I just brought a few other crystal skulls that I have. This is another one.
Oh, wow. I think I will put you on full screen if I manage so that you have a little bit more flexibility. Let's see if that works. No, the other one full screen. Why is that not working? I want you in full
That's
screen.
okay. That's okay. That's okay.
No,
It's
hold
just
on. I think I know how to do.
so this is a recent one that I have, and I feel that this is connected to Australia and the first beings which came to Australia from Pleiades. And so this is a medium size. It's not so big like the first one. And here's another one which I really love. It's a small one. Again, it's a very alien energy. It's a long skull, you say. Trying to uh, and I want to show you this. I really love this. Yeah. And another one, which is created by the same artist.
I'm trying to get you in full screen, but somehow it's.
I don't know why I'm having difficulties to because it's so different how the camera is
Yeah,
showing.
no, just in front of you. If you keep it in front of you, because you're sitting in the front, so you're just in front of you, of your chest, then we see it. Yes.
It's too far.
No, I mean like straight in front of you. Don't try to go left or right. Just in front
Not
of you,
trying. It's
because you're centered on the picture. So as
hmm?
long as you keep it between you and the camera, it's fine. Yes, it's a beautiful one. Ah, it's very narrow.
Narrow, yes. So it's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. I really love this. Again, with this is an alien energy. And so it's very similar to the other one. So it's the same artist. Yeah. Okay. So these are my favorites. I've got a few other little ones, and I had others which I gave away. But the crystal, the rose one, I'm keeping for for a while. For a while, this is my main one. All right. So here I have Brian de Flores. So what he does, he channels this information. So I laminate them all. So I'm going to start with number one, crystal skull, which connects us to Atlantis, and it's a male energy. So you can see the light language. Wow, it's so hard to do this. See the writing? He channels this. It's a little bit like this. He does this very quickly, like with in a few minutes he creates this. Just without thinking. It's just he holds four pencils in one hand, four pencils in another hand, and he just does this when he does visual activators. This is the second one, and it's a female, and it's Egypt, connected to Egypt. So I'm working with these visual activators. I'm I'm doing certain healings and meditations. So this is connecting with Sumeria. And this is the fourth one. It's a female connecting with Maya. This is connecting with Lemuria. So you can notice all the light language that is at the bottom and the top. So this, if you have the actual set of crystal skulls by Brian de Flores, and I use them as a visual activators. I work with these templates, and I inhale this energy, and I create certain formations. I create the circular altar, and this is from China, the one in China. This is in Greece. This is the crystal skull, which is in Greece. And this is the number one. This is connecting with the crystal skull in Avalon. This is connecting with India. Persia, and this is the last one, the 12 one, connecting with Babylon. And I'll tell you something. So we only have 12, Brand of Lore only made 12 visual activators with crystal skulls. Oh, no, there's another one here. I missed one out. That's Tibet. Tibet. Yeah, so there are the 12 only, because he says that the 13 one is not a physical crystal skull. That's his version. That's his channeling. He said the 13 is not physical. It's the collection of all of them. And when they had in Atlantis the altar, they had the 12 in a circle, and the high priest would be sitting in the middle, and he would be the 13 one. He would receive all the energies, and he's the 13. So
The
so that's
connection is the
the
connection.
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's his channeling. Bashar says there are actual 13 crystal skull. So whatever, everybody's got a little bit different. But the thing is that for sure there were, if whatever, 12 or 13, there were original crystal skulls, as we have the one in that we already discovered, couple of them or three of them, or maybe more, but whoever discovered them might not want to share the information. So that's pretty much the information that I like to share about crystal skulls. Any questions? Anything that you like? Anybody has any questions?
Um, do the different skulls come with different kind of messages? Do they have a different mission? I mean, what is
Mm,
the difference aside from maybe shape or location? I mean, I feel there's
yes.
something there.
Well, from the beginning, the 13 crystal skulls, each one of them has a little bit different um, information. It all had the exact message from the original, from the master one, but everyone having a different high priest as a caretaker had a different information depending where was taken, depending on which area of the earth was taken, depending on the energy that was necessary for that consciousness, those people, and that that is happening. Let's, for example, in China, in the crystal skull and the caretaker who took it to China, it has a different flavor than the one which is in Northern Europe or in Mexico. So every part of the world has a different energy. The earth people has a different consciousness. So it has to be a little bit different, each one. So so that's the original 13, yes. Then the new ones which are coming in, yes, like this one, for example. So this one is another being, a new being that uses this technology. And when it decided to come into this crystal, immediately created a contact link with all the others, but it brings its own frequency adding to it, but also transmits the energies from the original. But that
So
doesn't happen
the network and the
automatically.
knowledge is growing, basically.
Yeah, but it's not really like, for example, this didn't. It doesn't happen automatically. You actually have to do some work to connect it to that matrix. Like example, for example, this one was this created, yes, was activated and insane, but it was not connected to the original ones. But I did certain practices and meditations with it to activate it to the original 13. And I heard about different methods, different beliefs, how you connect it to that. But in general, I think each crystal, let's say a new completely blank crystal skull, which was created by an artist, it's like a baby, you know. Um, it comes in and depends of the caretaker's energy, what the caretaker wants and who is the caretaker depends how you teach this being, how it you help the being to open and open its gifts and abilities. So it's something that develops. The more the crystal skull is used, the more it evolves, and that's just like a baby. I think the new ones. And imagine the vintage ones. I think they call vintage the ones which they've been used in temples in India and in other parts of Asia. I've seen some very beautiful, elaborate decorations with special metals, precious metals, and beautiful, beautiful work. Not just the work, but I could feel that crystal skull was in a temple and was holding a space of high importance and power and worked with monks, disciples in certain rituals. And that is imprinted in the crystal because that's what the crystal does. It's like like a computer. It's upgrading information, storing information, and yeah, that's my answer to your question.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for this beautiful sharing.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Um, I feel if there's more, then that should come later. Like this is enough to let it sink in. Um, yeah, that's it. It's good for now, and if there's more to be shared, then that will come when the time is right.
Well, I feel that I would like to maybe do a little meditation with you and the viewers and bring in the energy of the crystal skull matrix and with the energy of Ayana. So maybe I can find a way to. Oh, I can't. I'll just have to hold it somehow like this for a little while. And just look into the third eye of this crystal for a while. Connect with it. Be aware of your third eye and um, link is connecting. It's opening now between you and Ayana and whoever is going to look into it later. Start breathing deeper. Intend to breathe in its energy. So I'm just going to do some sounds, some light language to help this. Ukata shokora ubahakua ne akute rashati shupara iteta. Aoke laro wa mahatiku wa pashato ra ashuanaku etita wa shate. Uakali o mahatua shata atiro mata itusu. Rahama iwa mahe. Rawahato kushuka rietu wa mahati wa mahiti. Tara ushimara ai kuashini tuanahu anakuti shatarawapa. Tinoko, tidua, titiwasha tiwala atiwasha. Itueta pashuamaha. Tu zatara wamahiku etiwaka ashankaruapa. Juma ituraha shokedarua mashakiru titu jemeda upera upeteshu ate kata. Ume e tu eta shuterata. Roa tratata shutekai. Tita ati tue e u ala hashantekua iki. Ani wa makitua me tu shinte tuake. Ti tuta tu keta I atu shira wa maitena. Hey, that's it. It's done.
Thank you. Was an interesting live today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity to share this amazing being. She is so happy. She's so happy. Yes. Sometimes I'm ignoring her. And now that she's on live, that makes her really, really happy.
Um, do you already know if next Monday, 27th, we're going to have a live or not? What do you feel? I'm available.
I am available too. Tomorrow is solstice here. I'm going for a nature walk with the grandfather to a sacred place, a very, very, very powerful place. Uh, about an hour and a half drive from Sydney North. There is a place where they discovered Egyptian hieroglyphics. Yes, it's quite a bit on YouTube about it. So about 20. So maybe I can talk about this place next time. Yeah, that could be a talk on its own.
Yeah, you let me know, and then when you feel that this is meant for Monday, next Monday, I'll put it in the title and
Yes,
schedule it.
yes.
Good.
When I'm going tomorrow for the solstice, it's going to be special. So that's it from me. Thank
Thank
you,
you
everyone.
everyone for
Thank you.
watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Laviras. I wish everyone who's celebrating Christmas a joyful Christmas. Everyone who's not celebrating it, because he doesn't believe in Christmas or whatever, to just have a beautiful week, to let the energy flow, and see each other in a week from now on 27th, same time.
Yay! Thank you. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Lotfi. Thank you, everybody.